But one thing that I've been very, very curious about, and I think like I've made my own hypothesis about, is what is going to happen to the software development ecosystem of Nepal in general in the post AI world.
I really believe that the next 3-5 years, or like next 5 to 10 years, it's gonna rapidly change our industry.
For MVP, the whole ecosystem is going to change, has changed. For large scale projects, you have to adopt AI. If you don't adopt AI, then you will be slower compared to rest of the world.
Okay, Avinash and Prashish, thank you so much for coming and welcome to Post AI Nation. Today I don't have my co-host Punit Dai. He's busy with his marriage, and then we were discussing who to bring as co-host so that we can talk, and then like we discuss, and then we're like, okay, let's bring Avinash and Prashish both to come and talk about what is happening in their lives and generally post AI in the post AI world. What are you guys doing? Obviously, I know a bit of what both of you are doing, but then generally I think it'll be interesting to decode into like how we are seeing the post AI world adoption, tech, where everything is moving and things like that. The primary reason why we started doing this is we actually want to bring in some conversations in the Nepalese tech ecosystem and see how we can add to the conversations that are already happening, because we really feel that the conversations that could lead us to become very globally competitive in terms of our tech ecosystem are happening, but then not so much, so that they can actually create a bigger value. So thank you so much for giving our time, both of you, very accomplished tech entrepreneurs in your own rights. So okay, first of all, I think it'll be a good idea for both of you to just quickly introduce yourself, what you're doing right now, and then yeah, I think maybe we can start from Prashish there.
Thank you so much, Alok. Finally, great to be here. I think we had planned this for many months,
Yeah,
and finally we got some time.
yeah,
So I'm Prashish. So I've been in the tech for more than a decade.
yeah,
Uh, Me, Avinash, we have had a long history, especially in the tech ecosystem of Nepal, building ecosystem, building communities from the PHP days, right?
yeah.
PHP, JavaScript days, long time. Uh, so from there, I think we have come here where we are still in tech.
Mhm.
It's good to see. But personally, for me, I mean, I've always enjoyed tech as a tool, tech as a platform for me to grow as well and to also express myself um, in the form of products, in the form of like helping the community, helping even myself grow, or I'll just build something interesting for the world, right? So for right now, my main focus is mostly on blockchain. So been in the blockchain space full time for the past 5 to 6 years. Been building in Nepal for the past 5 years. We have a company here called Venture 23 and a gaming studio called Game Machines Lab. So my primary focus right now is building fully on-chain games, digital native games where digital assets are owned by the by yourself, right? So I think uh, been in this cutting space where like we are trying to do a lot of R&Ds, building some interesting use cases of how people can own their assets digitally, and also aside from that, been working with different companies around the world, setting up their blockchain Web3 crypto strategy, especially helping them transition from being a traditional Web2 company to Web3 if they wanna, and mostly helping out games and helping out fintech companies along the way. Aside from that, I also advise, uh, mentor some tech companies, and right now my one of the tech companies that I'm like really helping out is a construction company based in Australia, and I'm actually helping them set up their AI strategy as well. So different things, and we can chat more. Alok.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. When you say we've gone a long way, like we're part of the same club in at St. Xavier's College. I don't think that club exists anymore. but
Yeah.
but then yeah, I think like Avinash, were you president of that club? The
I don't recall. I
CG
don't recall.
CG. Do you remember CGA? No.
I remember CGI. I remember CGI. I I think I was I think I
No,
was part of the team. Yep, Prashish.
Shishir was the president, and you
Ah,
were the
Shishir was the president.
webmaster. And same, I was also the webmaster. This
Oh, okay, okay, yes, yes.
your second batch.
Yeah, and then I followed after that, but then it was a good experience. Okay, thank you so much, Dave.
Yep.
Avinash, that you want to talk about what you're doing right now?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Alok. Thank you for inviting me. It's surprising that we need a podcast for the three of us to get together after so long. Um,
That's true.
but yeah, thank you so much. Uh,
And we go to the same
so
office.
and we go to the same office. That's yeah, true. Anyways, so I've as Prashish said, I've been around for like 1 year more than Prashish if we do the maths. Then in terms of building software, my personal interest is in building software, building web applications. I feel that I've earned a lot because of the internet, and not earn in sense of financial terms, but uh, in terms of life, in terms of knowledge, in terms of like anything we do. I think we've gained a lot from the internet. So I really like the tool, the system, and I also enjoy building systems that rely on the internet and also democratize a lot of things. We've democratized education. Prashish is in the path of democratizing money, in some cases, entertainment as well. Um, so yeah, so that's what I am personally interested in. As of now, I run a software agency out of Kathmandu, where the goal is to build high quality products. I think when we were starting, then the idea was also like, "Isto काम गरौँ कि मजा आओस्." So that was the main goal. So I think we are still doing that. Apart from that, I'm also quite active in the tech community. So I think Prashish, we've also done a lot in that area. So we used to run the PHP meetup, and then at some point we ran the Mozilla meetup. I'll be missing a lot of names because it's been like 15 years or 13 years now. And then I think we did like developers Nepal meetup. We did several hackathons back in the day, and then in the recent years, I've been organizing Tech Kurakani, Web Weekend Kathmandu conference. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I think like there are a lot of things that we can talk, but one thing that I've been very very curious about, and I think like I've made my own hypothesis about, is what is going to happen to the software development ecosystem of Nepal in general in the post AI world. Especially with the kind of human resource that we have in the ecosystem, the way we work with foreign companies. Both of you have a lot of experience in actually building products for consulting for organizations abroad or in other parts of the world. Do you see that changing in the post AI world? Is that going to remain the same? How is it going to evolve? Do you think there is even value to be captured now from a market like Nepal in the post AI world for developing products for someone else?
It's pretty insane how things have rapidly changed in the last 5 years, right? I have not coded for a long time, but right now the top AI coding like agents or whatever you call it is, I think, 100 or million times better than what I used to be like back then, right? So for me, I think it has been such an eye-opening moment from when the coding agents came in, and there's a lot of bugs whenever you started typing, or whenever you ask for it to do something. There's a lot of bugs from now, where you just prompt and it just gives you like high quality interfaces, or at least high quality MVPs or proof of concepts at this time. So from there to there, it probably took us 3 years. And it's been shockingly good, right? So how I really believe that the next 3-5 years, or like next 5 to 10 years, it's gonna rapidly change our industry, especially because especially for the industry where in Nepal or some other like some other countries where there's mostly outsourcing simple. No, I wouldn't say simple. I would say Web3, Web2 tasks. I feel that that needs to rapidly evolve for us to even like compete in the global market, because even in our company, most of our employees use some of the coding agents to help make us efficient. But I think we are almost getting to a point where they are AI is writing 50 to 60% of the code. Uh, for me, it's different because I mostly use it to create some simple hobby projects for even for professionals. I remember a week back when something happened to our cursor, I think subscription, and people, it was people, the whole coding stalled, right?
Okay.
They said, okay, well, what happened to cursor? So we had to fix it. So I think we are, and it's really helping us be more efficient and rapid prototyping of our tasks. It's going to evolve. I think software development in the next 5-10 years is going to look very, very different to what we are seeing right now. I wouldn't be saying this maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, but I've seen it firsthand with the technology evolving, and it's just going to keep on improving as it goes. Um, Avinash, you want to add, because I think Avinash has been working on this agency,
Mm-hmm.
and I can add more.
Mm-hmm. No, I think what you touched on is true. And in terms of software development as a service, I think we can break it into like two different parts. I mean, probably more, but at least two that we are interested in right now. One is building prototypes, MVPs, proof of concepts, and in that case, the whole ecosystem has changed. You don't whatever used to take like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you can build prototypes in less than a day, and these are not minimum viable, but they do the thing. They work. If you know how to prompt well, if you know how to use the right agent for the right task, it'll connect to a database. It'll send telemetry. So it'll be a proper MVP application that you can push out to the world and people can use it. That's one. The other part is not building MVPs, but rather building high quality, scalable, production grade application, and then not just building them, but building on top of them. So iterating them, where you don't have just one system, but you have like multiple systems. In those cases, I don't think we can leave it to AI yet. Uh, but as Prashish said, you cannot do it without AI anymore. Everyone is used to prompting. Everyone is used to having the code written by an agent. But now, in those cases, you have to orchestrate it very well. So you have to tell the agent, hey, this is what I need. This is what my system looks like. You have to document everything well. And then you have to uh, still explain what you need in, if not fully, then very technical terms. And then what the agent will give you, or what the um, coding agent will give you, will be very close to what you need. Just doing a one shot prompting will not give you. So in that sense, for MVP, the whole ecosystem is going to change, has changed. For large scale projects, you have to adopt AI. If you don't adopt AI, then you will be slower compared to rest of the world. You will also not be able to think broadly, because there's just so much context that we can put in our brains. But if we document everything well, then we can also use the context window of the AI or language model. Um, so in that sense, we as a country that mostly does outsourcing, we have to grow in terms of usage of AI. We have to prototype and experiment a lot, because this field is not, it's not done. It's like बनिसक्यो अब यस्तै गर्ने भन्ने, so we are not there yet. Everyone, the whole world is experimenting with the tools that are there today. People are trying to figure out patterns that works. People are trying to figure out combinations that work. So I think we have to experiment. If we don't, then we'll be behind, and we will lose out on a lot of benefits.
Are we?
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
sorry. Yeah, please go.
no, no, I just want to touch upon. So I see like three categories of like companies or even software engineers. So one is, I think right now it's maybe like 20 to 25% of people who are still not using AI. They are like the purist, saying that, oh, I don't want to use AI. I want to still write code. There's a lot of bugs on AI. So I think those people make a small fraction, like 1/4, but still, like throughout the world. I don't know in Nepal. We try to push that like in our companies with people that I know, but there's still that fraction, right? The other fraction is, I think, a majority which who are using AI, but for small tasks. Something like the people who used to copy and paste in Stack Overflow, they're probably just prompting in Claude, ChatGPT to get some work done. Maybe help AI do some of the testings or some features, right? That's, I think, a major chunk. And the last part, which is maybe I think 5 to 10%, is AI native companies which are using AI extensively, using like documenting, architecting, writing majority of the time, a majority of the work code. They know how to use AI systems, right? So I feel like the third category of people are using AI technology or AI toolings the best. Maybe prototyping in a very short period of time, creating production level architectures or like systems properly with one senior level uh, developer, right? And these are the companies which are gonna probably graduate when like post AI, right? Post AI nation. Uh, and we really want to push more and more developers on the third category, so that they are the orchestrators, not the coders or not the ignorers.
Okay. When we are working with teams right now, one thing that I see being a big problem with AI adoption is muscle memory. It's not even technical. It's more like I have a workflow. I operate in a workflow, and there is some AI tool that is coming to actually integrate that AI tool into the way I work. I'll have to put some intentional work towards creating a new workflow that is charged with AI. I've seen a lot of people not being able to put that intentional effort, and like as Avinash was saying, a lot of experimentation is happening. So if people are not putting that effort in to break that muscle memory of not using AI very intensively, the limit the general application of it probably is getting limited to writing some code, or maybe writing some documents or making some stuff. But then I think the entire workflow of software development is totally changing with AI. Do you see something like this in the tech teams that you are building yourself, or like you are exposed to in consulting with other companies?
I can start first. In terms of muscle memory, I don't think so, at least not in terms of engineering and building systems, um, especially because the the user interface or the experience of using AI is very close to the tools that we already use for building software. So it's integrated in your IDE, it's part of your terminal, it's already part of your processes. So the jump from not using AI to using AI it's very minimal. Like think of GitHub Copilot when it first came out. It was a very smart autocomplete, and you already had autocomplete. So you didn't have to change anything in the way you worked. It's just that you had a different suggestion uh, instead of again, I'm using the word dumb suggestion, but that was also not really dumb. Um, but the simple auto suggestion that used to come. So in that sense, at least for engineering or programming, I don't think uh, muscle memory or taking that jump is an issue, but for other areas, I think it is.
Yeah. So I think for me, what I feel is it's true for any work, right? For example, I'm so used to doing a work in a certain workflow that let's say even introducing any new workflow, there is going to be some friction. And like Avinash mentioned, in our field, the tech or the programmers or developers are always trying to evolve or always trying to learn new things. So the friction is less, but there definitely is a friction. I think example would be if we ask developers to write automated testing, they would be like, oh no, I mean, I don't want to write it, or I mean, we need to have that on the workflow, right? Unless you do that, it's tough. So I think by nature, adding something new is always there's always going to be friction. But people who like take on the task or want to embrace it, they're gonna really move forward. So I think that's one. And second one is even the tools are evolving, right? Google Copilot, I mean Copilot, GitHub Copilot, even Cursor, the Cursor that was like 1 year back, and now it has dramatically changed. The developers, I mean, I still remember the time when developers feared using Cursor because they replaced the code. They're like, I don't want AI to replace the code. I want to make sure I have control. But now they have full control over it. So even the tools are evolving every week, and the processes are getting better as they're getting feedback loops from the developers. But the toolings are also getting very smart, right? Something which like if AI coded something a year back, there was a lot of bug. Now the AI finds the bug, tries to fix it, keeps fixing it unless it has some confidence that it has done the task, right? So I think and that was also an eye opening for me, because when I first tried to use the coding agent, there's a lot of bugs and I had to manually fix it, or I had to ask the AI to fix it. But now if I ask it to do something, it actually gives me a workable product, right? It might not be the best interface. There might be some logical issue, but it actually works. So I think it is evolving as we go.
Like in this entire process, no, there must have been a point where you went from, yeah, it is a technology that is developing to, like, oh, it is a totally new world. When was it, and what kind of experience was it for both of you?
Yeah, I can start. So for me, ChatGPT came out 2020 with GPT-3. At least that was the first time I experienced agents. I think there was like DALE. Uh, I did play around with it, but it was not an aha moment for me, at least back then, right? But did try to use it in some of the tasks, and they were pushing out new updates regularly. But GPT-4 was when I was like, oh shit, this does so much than just like reading the doc and giving some like Q&As. It actually understood what I meant to say, and it asked a lot of questions. So I think that was the aha moment for me in terms of my experience. But in terms of coding, uh, like I said, when I first tried it, a lot of bugs. But now I think the only friction that I have with the coding agent and me is my speed and the computation, right? So I definitely see a point in the future where we're gonna have like some kind of uh, brain interfaces where you talk to AI and there's like things happen so fast. Uh, and it actually gets it done, right? For us, how we have been using mostly AI is fast prototyping, and especially asking non-developers to use these coding agents, product managers, project managers, QA engineers, and get their experience. If they could develop something very fast, that is, I think, the biggest win for us as a company, especially on what we are doing. I mean, just an example was just day before, like 2 days back, we are like brainstorming some ideas around a product or game that we wanted to build on one of the blockchains. And yesterday evening, he sent me a prototype of the game. I'm like, damn, I mean, what the hell, right? And and the person is a non developer. So things can move from, oh, I have an idea, to here is a working product. And then from there, it takes probably a week or two to keep on iterating and iterating with like giving prompts, fixing bugs and here and there to actually a live product. So, so that so I think it's a splendid and fantastic technology at this point where it has helped us as a company. I think it's helping a lot of developers around the world. But for companies to do quick prototypes and even to launch products, I think it's like a fantastic tool that everyone should use.
Yeah, I think like just in terms of prototype as well. I think when we are developing tangible, and if we just go back to just year ago, then the initial process of prototyping of what is the product, what do we want to build, going back and forth between the wireframes and the UI of the platform, and trying to understand and get the team on the same page. Now it is almost like taking the team to a retreat and then pretty much coding everything over there, and then we have the next 3 months of work pretty much ready to build from there. Like there will be a lot of tweaking and a lot of development in the process, but then I think it makes it a lot easier for everyone to come on the same page, and then really have the great understanding of the product. And that's been our experience while we are building it. But Abhinash, like your aha moment of where like when you really thought, okay, this is something insane.
Mm-hmm. So I was trying to think if there was an aha moment,
Okay.
and I could not uh, think of one. But in general, like when GPT 3.5 and then GPT 4 um, came out, I, I was mostly a user. So I was using ChatGPT a lot, and it was a good Google replacement for me, uh, plus maybe a bit more, because it still kept context of what I was speaking of, or the discussion. and and I think there were like at least two things that I can think of. One was when DeepSeek first came out with this whole reasoning style of working. uh, that was very interesting, and that's when I think around that time I also watched this, like I think it was 1.5 or 2 hours video from Karparthi about like how LLMs work. And uh, after watching that video, I had a understanding of, okay, how this thing works and what it's doing internally, because until that point it was black magic to me. It still is in some sense, because uh, the outcome is still like magic. Uh, but I think those two were the turning moment for me, when I was like, no, we have to spend time and energy trying to understand this, if I can say, then in a way tame this beast, because it has a lot of it can go in many different tangents. So you really have to figure out how to move it into the tangent that you're interested in. And regarding what you said, Prashish, I think there's just two things that came to my mind. One, in terms of speed, I use this on and off, but I've seen a lot of people use it, which is to not type, but rather just speak to the agent.
Voice,
Yeah, I
yeah,
think
voice.
Exactly.
that's a game changer. I tell this to everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
Just talk to
Exactly.
the.
Right. So talk to the agent. I don't know, you'll send a huge message that will probably be difficult for you to encrypt and make your way around, but the agent does it very well. And the other thing that came to my mind was, um, like we are in this transitionary period right now, where creating a prototype and taking it online is so easy, so fast, and not a lot of people are doing it. So uh, right now, I think, is in a way a golden moment where you can just prototype something, put it out in the world, and then see how people react to it. If a business can be built around it, or whatnot, whatever your uh, goal is. But in some years, this is going to be overwhelming. There will be way too many MVPs, and I think we will have to figure out some way. The world will figure out a way to somehow at least uh, find the signal from the noise.
Yeah. So regarding I think I wrote an article called Dial Up AI. So I do feel like right now the AI interaction, at least for me, feel like very dial-up-ish, like 128 to 56 kbps. Still remember those days. I use voice, but whenever I do some coding like problems, I have to take a screenshot, I have to post the screenshot, I have to then I have to type it, right? I could use voice, but I still feel it's inefficient for me, and it takes a lot of computation, like goes back and forth. Sometimes it summarizes, and that summarization takes like a minute, right? So things are moving so fast. It just you're just uh, uh, your habit is uh, like it's not. I mean, it's a bad habit right now. You're just expecting the AI to give things very fast, and it is getting fast, right? I think we have seen it firsthand that things are right now when you prompt answer is right there. Um,
No,
so.
I think in this process, I think we have found a lot of value in actually really clarifying the first bit, like whatever we want to put it, especially when we are building the prototype, writing the PRD first and making it very, very like whatever we need to, like if very, very complete and feeding it up to the prototype tool. That uses a lot less token, is a lot more faster than just talking to the computer. But then again, like talking to the computer is probably one of those hacks that is a bit underrated right now, because like just yesterday I was in a session, and I was taking a session and they were supposed to do some analysis, and then they were writing, there is the data set, do analysis, and in the head they were saying everything else that is supposed to be here, but then the quality of prompt that was coming out was just that. I was like what did he just type? And he was explaining it to me. So, and why didn't you tell this to the computer? So there is a big friction between what we type and what we can say. So I think it's a bit of an underrated hack. But then what we've really found a lot of value in is that first really clarifying, creating documents first, and then feeding it up to AI systems that uses a lot less tokens and is a lot faster as well.
But I think we will get to a point where AI agents and AI systems are gonna run entire company in like
I totally
in
agree.
the
Yeah.
form of like marketing, social media, writing code. I think we are in a very early stage where AIs can do a part of it, maybe an early version of it, prototyping, creating some social media like a post. But I think we will get to a point where there's going to be multiple AI agents working with different departments, working with different leadership teams or managers. It's going to be their clone. It's going to be the department's clone, and they're going to really help it. And that future, I feel like, is not that very far.
Yeah, I think so too. But then, like when it comes to any young people, like young people who's trying to build career, like very early stage in their career. Now I'm looking at all of these development, and then obviously when we were younger, no, no, like we were somewhere in the middle, so we were younger. Then probably there was a thought process of building that career. But then right now I'm seeing so much of advancements, and I really don't understand where do I actually build my skills. Like even if I want to build a very good software engineer, what do I need to value? There is so much noise, like someone is saying like the software engineer's job won't exist anymore. Someone is saying you won't need junior software engineers anymore. Someone is saying you won't need expert software engineers anymore. They'll have AI agents. But then if I have to build, if I want to build products, and if I want to build technology, then what should I focus on? Like, what do you think? Like, if you were like maybe like 18, 19 right now, what would you do?
So should I okay. Um, so right now, information was always on the internet, like when we Googled, back then, even now. But for the new graduates, I think the number one skill that they need to have right now is curiosity and being able to adapt and learn quickly, right? Because the one, at least in our generation, was, oh, software engineering was so tough. AIs could never replace it. But now we are seeing that AIs could actually replace us, right? I think we're getting there. At least we are seeing the glimpse of what is to come. For graduates, I feel like you got to be curious about a lot of things, because the world is changing, the world is evolving as we speak, and the skills that was needed yesterday might not be relevant tomorrow. Hence, I think being able to adapt is also a very critical aspect. And the easiest way to do right now is to work with AI, to to use AI in your tasks, use AI to learn. Uh, doing various, I mean, it can be coding, it can be anything, right? So only tech should not be the focus. I think it's going to impact almost every industry, and every people, I mean, people from every industry actually needs to adapt. In my house, the I think the number one user of AI is my dad. uh, I'm serious, right?
Almost in my house too.
Yeah, he has like two laptops and he's always chatting with AI, learning new things about aeronautics. Uh, and he's asking AI, how do I present this? How do I talk to to this person? That I feel like is so necessary. And then from there you learn, because you'll be learning how these AI systems like give you feedback, and the AI system is evolving from text to now it can create reports, to research, to code, to images, to what to PPTs, right? So I think just being able to adapt to the skill sets like quickly, I think is the number one skill. I feel like, rather than okay, I need to be good at XYZ.
Would you still learn programming?
Definitely, I think it just amplifies your knowledge. It does not replace your knowledge, right? If I want to become if I'm a good musician, the AI is going to help you become a better musician, or master your skill. If I'm a good developer, it's going to amplify my skill sets 10x, like making some legwork easy, or helping me decide on some architectural decisions, or just automating few things that I probably would have spent few days writing. So I feel like AI is an amplification of what our skill sets, rather than it's going to replace everything, and again you'll be redundant, right? So that's how I see AI. I'm not a so I'm a historian buff. I love to learn about cultures, but for me to I mean then I mean for me to read about history, I need to go to the library, or I need to research. With AI, it just helps me learn that stuff in 10 minutes than one day, right? So it helps me uh, it helps me in a lot of the things that I've always been doing in the past.
Okay, makes sense. Avinash Dai?
No, I think I'll be saying almost the same things in just different words. Uh, but what you said, Prashish, I think I totally resonate with that. The core thing that if I were someone in 18 years old, or yeah, if I were 18 years old, or
I think you
even
started
this
coding long before 18 years old.
long before it, we did. But if I were 18, or if I were my age as well, being curious is definitely the core skill that you should have, because being curious will help you understand how things work, how the world works, how your system works, how it relates to everything else. And if you really think of it, like back when we were studying and working, or started working, it wasn't how well I programmed, or how well I uh, did on a test, but it was rather about how well I understood where something fit in the whole ecosystem. It was again a side effect of being curious. So that's one thing. The other thing that uh, we should not forget is to have fun while building things. So you have to build. You cannot leave everything to the AI. You have to build some things by yourself as well, to again, because you're curious and you want to understand how it works, and you also want to have fun in the process. uh, and there's one thing that I think is very important, but I don't know how to do it. And I have the feeling we might have uh, achieved it at some point, or I think we might have achieved it. And that is having a good taste. I don't know, again, I don't know how can someone bring good taste in themselves, but it's really important, because now if AI is going to do 80% of your job, or 90% of your job in some years from now, the only thing that's going to differentiate between your outcome versus someone else's outcome is your taste. And you have to have good taste. You have to understand what needs to be built, why it needs to be built, why it needs to work a specific way. uh, so yeah, I think those two things, being curious and developing good taste.
this taste, I've had a very interesting relationship with taste, and that we would need good taste in a post AI world, and a very analogous relation with empathy, like, because there was so much conversation around the machines can't be empathetic, and then like they won't have the sentiment and things like that. But then I find more and more people talking to ChatGPT even more than their partners. So and then probably there is a different translation of empathy, and let's say it is understanding us a lot more. There is no judgment, and then it's probably saying the things that we want to hear in some sense, especially ChatGPT. But then, do you think even taste is going to have a similar kind of scenario? Because this technology is like constantly surprising us with what it can do, and probably the mental, like, we are looking at from a mental frame that, okay, how can we have relevance in the post AI world? Maybe it's through empathy, maybe it's through taste, maybe it's through curiosity. But then I see this getting challenged, like, like, with time, very easily. So
Mm.
do you think, do you agree to that?
So interesting. I didn't think of taste. How I saw that was, so AI could, so I think for us, the curiosity, so we are the interface on in the market, right? Meaning that AI could build amazing systems, AI could build wonderful toolings, but it doesn't know what the market requires at that time. So and it is being interfaced through us, meaning that it can build, let's say, a nice platform, but if the market doesn't require it, we have to tell the AI. If the button that the AI gives, the market wants another color, then we are the interface to the market, to the AI. So right now, AI operates in prompting. That you prompt something, it does it. It might take a minute, it might take hours to achieve that. But AI doesn't have that uh, taste or the knowledge of the what the market demands, or what the market needs, or what the market is evolving. Maybe in the future we're gonna solve that problem as well, where the AI agent understands what's going on, and that changes based on that. I'm pretty sure it is gonna do that in the future. But that is the only missing piece, I feel like, at this time, where it can build amazing things, but it doesn't know if it's amazing. And the market can actually set it out to zero, right? Meaning that if the market doesn't like it, it can go from 100 to zero in an instant. And and that is something where we come into the picture, like creating an amazing application. It could do it, but if our developers doesn't know that language, then the developers are going to drop that like line to zero, right? Because they're not going to adopt it. So I think there comes, I think the buffer is there right now, and the buffer is getting smaller and smaller in the future as well. I don't know if that's taste that you guys are talking about.
Yeah, no, I think taste is a very nuanced concept because um, taste is not just in terms of a product. You might say, okay, is there a need for it, and that is taste. Um, how it works in terms of experience, that could be taste. In terms of figuring out what needs to be built, that is taste. I think everything that we do is in a way pushed because of our taste. And what you said, I think the AI probably has, because of all this post training phase, it has developed some form of pseudo taste, if I may say that. And this pseudo taste will decrease the gap, but in the end we will have to develop good taste.
It's a good discussion about taste. I think it also, so how it has helped me is figure out that taste, right?
Yeah,
Meaning that I might have thought of something, and they say, by the way, have you thought of this?
yeah,
Have you thought of that? And then it helps me rethink my like entire problem statement
yeah,
in some ways. And then it also helps me redefine it as well. I might have reached that in 10 days, but with the AI system, it helps me reach that in a very short period of
yeah.
time, which redefines how I'm thinking as well.
Also, it's a very personal thing, right? Taste, like, I might like something, you might not like something, and Prashda might like something. uh let's say for example, if you look at our YouTube playlist or a Spotify playlist, we would probably say that it has a good taste because it is like so based on our preferences and like the things that we've been listening. It's recommending things like that. So I think taste in some sense probably will create a very new definition of what it means that what someone likes. Because now it's not really liking as a group, probably it's liking as a person. So I think the dynamic is going to change a lot, because one thing is very clear, that in terms anything that has patterns and then a lot of notes to create, and I think that's where AI is probably a lot better. So I'm actually waiting for this time where AI has a better taste than us, just like it has better empathy than us at this point.
No, but being human is also a part of having that taste. If
Yeah,
I think AI can mimic taste, can uh, like create this pseudo taste, but just the fact that us being a human, where we have different biasesness, different likings, disliking, different taste as per se, I think that is something that i- is very close to, I mean, being a human, right? So.
yeah. But very interesting subjective conversation, like because
Yeah.
it's not been long, the conversation or empathy was there. Yeah, I think I was probably having this conversation with some people at Kings and Bishes there at some point of time, where this conversation around empathy, and then I remember him telling maybe there is a time it could get figured out, but then and then now there is a lot of different dimensions to it. Moving forward, where do you see the biggest opportunity in the post AI world, like from your lens right now?
Adopt it. I think that's the biggest opportunity. You adopt it, integrate it in your workflows, uh, document things well, because I think having things documented is going to help you a lot to get knowledge from the past,
I
to
agree.
think
Yeah.
about why you uh, did things a specific way. So I, I've re- I used to take notes for a long time, but now I've started explaining as well, like why I did something. Just try to make it a bit more high contrast, so that um, someday maybe AI can at least help me, or try to think of it. So I think that's the most important thing that you can do right now.
Yeah, and I think like I've been using Notion to actually document a lot of things that I do, document meetings notes, because now it is very easy for it to transcribe, record, transcribe, and then put it into a knowledge base. Similar with everything that we do. And then one thing that I see as a step in technology is that now even tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, connecting to places that can actually do better management of context, better management of information. So I think I definitely agree that it is going to be a big thing, and then especially right now when we are training non-technical people for AI adoption, this is something that sounds very trivial, but then this is something that we really focus on. That okay, it's super important how you put your document, because that is going to be the context for your decision making, for whatever you create. And I think that's a big skill moving forward as well. Okay, okay. Uh, I might be a bit biased in asking. No, I think Prashant, the biggest opportunity first. Let's go there, and then we'll go to the next question.
Okay. So the biggest opportunity I feel like is right now, if I were like, I think like Avinash mentioned, if I was a 16, 17, 18-year-old, I would be using AI extensively to create something that would have taken me months and months to build, right? At least quickly prototype, learn from it. Someone who is from, let's say, Kathmandu or Patan, has like a lot of, they can pay $20 or they can use it for free and use this immense intelligence, global intelligence that the AI has, and use it to your advantage. I think that is such a, I mean, it's a priceless like thing, that you have a supercomputer in your pocket, in your laptop, which you can build now startups, you can build products, you can build toolings, it can help you amplify, let's say, your writings, your art, your craft, whatever be it. I think that is the biggest opportunity for everyone, in terms of helping them become 10x to what they were using this technology, right? Being in Nepal, I feel like just adopting it, learning from it, like understanding the global landscape as well, not just being stuck on the tooling. I think that's one layer where you can use a tool, help the businesses. But there is, I feel like, a much bigger opportunity where Nepal, or even this, I mean, this whole Southeast Asia, they can use in terms of data centers, like even being a voice on in the whole AI space, and just learning about what's going on every single day, every single week, right? I feel like that's the number one opportunity. The space is growing, everyone is learning. I feel like this is when crypto was there, like 2017, 2018, where every day something was happening. Every week, so there was a new blockchain, there was a new technology, there was a new tool. Here, I mean, every day there's like new coding agents, there's like a new writing agent, some foundation model pushed out their new version, right? And just understanding them and using them in your tool, I feel like, is something that everyone should be doing.
Makes sense. What do you use generally on your everyday AI tools that like that are open almost 24/7 on your laptop?
By default, my next big pet project is actually creating a Prashish's AI digital clone. Actually, I was thinking
Okay.
about it like a few days back, where I use Gemini, I use ChatGPT, I use Claude, but the context and the memory is spread out everywhere. So whenever I need to talk to that, talk to the agent, I need to give them context again. I need to drop some like past links and personal like documents, and then restart the conversation again, right? What if I could host something? And I think this is definitely possible right now with all these open source models, where I could give them all the information. I could give them my like blogs and links, my drafts, access to my Gmail drive, and being able to ask something that it can actually give me a response without redoing that like initial like the early steps, right? So I feel like that is something that I'm very curious about, and that could evolve into a writing Prashish, or a coding Prashish, or a let's say a LinkedIn post writing Prashish, right? So I feel like that is gonna evolve, and I feel like that is something that is gonna happen eventually. Everyone is looking for that, right? Right? Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Avinash, then?
Mhm. No, I think while you were saying Precious, uh, I just realized I've like almost half a year back I built an agent for myself, and that agent had access to, so it runs locally on my machine. It has access to my calendar. It has access to all of my notes, and based on that, uh, it does quite a lot of things. And yesterday I had the thought that okay, now I need to give it access to my emails as well, so that every morning it can just keep track of okay, what emails came in, what I need to reply, what state my project is in. So yeah, I think these personal AI assistants, I still
Yeah.
don't think of them as replacements, but personal AI assistants that have high fidelity understanding of your personal ecosystem, they will be essential. I don't know in what form they will be built, but since building is very easy nowadays, everyone will try to build something for themselves. But having said that, at least what I use on a daily basis is Chat GPT. Like for personal use, I haven't found any other tool better than Chat GPT on the web. And for programming, I have not tried the king of all coding agents, which is Claude. So I have not tried that yet. Uh, but I use Codex on a day-to-day basis. I used to use Gemini. I tried a lot of open source agents as well. Sometimes I use my own agent as well. But right now, I think Codex does a lot better than my personal agent. So
Mm. Yeah, talking about different models, right? I've been using right now these days Grok Fast 4, because it's, first of all, it's cheaper. I was using like Claude, and then like $20-$30 was like in one session it went out of the door, and like what the hell. And then I switched to Grok, and luckily it was cheap, or it was at least free, given to us as free. So it does the work, right? Um, and back to Avinash's point. Like, I think the point is using multiple models, being able to be flexible, and the technology is growing. Grok wasn't there 2 years back, right? Now it is like almost competing as the top coding agents in the world. So there's like the big war that's going on behind, like with all the big companies, all the big companies are fighting over foundational models, and they're getting better. Like, from when ChatGPT came out, like 2K was the context window, now it's 2 million, and it's going to grow bigger and bigger because everyone is demanding it. So I feel like, and coding, it was not, we were not able to deploy like core, like different applications back then. Now it does everything to you, like creates an account for you, deploys it on your behalf. So it has become pretty insane, right? I think the whole assistant that Avinash mentioned, I think it's gonna not only be your like someone who you can ask, but also does it just on your behalf.
I think the general rule of thumb in this direction that I have been operating it is that anything that does not have critical decision making, and that decision making could be put there as a logic or as a piece of paper. I think those kind of things will slowly get outsourced to AI, and then I think the critical decision making and thinking, more creative thinking, bigger problem solving, also with the help of AI, is what we'll probably be doing more and more of. And I think like anything that is like very trivial, does not really require a lot of brain power, or is something that happens very regularly. I think these agents will get a lot better, like things like posting, things like writing emails, getting track of the work. Like there are just logistical things that doesn't need a lot of human expertise to actually be able to do it. But then with the AI agents, if they are knit properly, then I think that there is a lot to gain over there. On that note, what do you think is a total waste of time in today's world to invest your time on, as a technical person?
Total waste of time.
Yeah.
I'm from you added technical, so I think that just changes the
I,
question,
I, I
because
mean, like it
for
can
me
be, it
nothing
can,
is.
it can be both. It can be both. What is a total waste of time for non-technical people as well?
No, I think I'm in that group where I feel like nothing is really wasted, right? I think just getting ingestion of all the nonsense information, nonsense social media posts, or even like learning a lot of books also does actually eventually it's a net negative. I'm I'm I actually feel like getting a lot of information. You need to be at a point where you need to be still, be in silence, because that's when the creativity sparks, right? That's when you actually might have some ideas, or at least you rest. So, uh, but practically, uh, nonsense, I feel like, is social media. I feel like is like not. I think you can use it for certain time of the day, but just constantly being in social media, I feel like it's not just a brain rot. I feel like I think there used to be a term called like doom scrolling, right? So I think that's this dumbs your mind, dumbs your brain, uh, like like produces a little less critical thinking, and just dulls your entire senses, and then you become a machine, which then the AI could easily replace you in the future if you're not better.
Yeah, I think that the value of like plugging yourself out of the tech ecosystems, the screens and everything, and really spending time so that there is a lot of brain recalling that is happening as well, and then we can think clearly. I think that will certainly grow in a lot of value, because as you mentioned, I think it is something that is not very tangible and we can't really feel it, that our brain is getting cluttered and we are getting worse at decision making. But then I think we are going to see some real impact of overloaded brain, and then not being able to make good decisions for the things that we do. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
that is something
I,
that we
I'll,
can
I'll
look
just
at.
add. I'll just add one more thing before Avinash. I take this example, right? You're like walking in the street, and there's like a food over here in a dumpster, and you're trying to have that food, and there's another food in the dumpster. You're having that food. You feel like your body is getting filled, but you're just having like wasted things. Similarly, in the information age, there's like information being thrown at you from every angle, and you feel like, oh, this maybe this is productive or this is nice, but you just wasted. You're like a homeless person walking the street and just ingesting everything, and this doesn't help you in the long run.
Yeah, totally agree. Avinash, that
Mhm. Yep. No, but just one more addition to that. I will also add LinkedIn to social media, at least for,
new social media, Facebook.
yeah, it's the new social media, and it's I would rather use LinkedIn instead of um no, Instagram instead of LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is full of AI AI hype, or hyped post written with AI. So
And the replies are also from AI. There's like an AI post, and there's a reply by AI, and there's another reply by AI, and they're like, oh my God, it's so obvious.
yeah, exactly. So it's really there's a lot of noise there, and it's really difficult to differentiate what's important, or what is real LinkedIn news, instead of AI slop. In terms of total waste of time from an AI perspective, I I was trying to think while Prashish was speaking, but I could not think of anything like this. Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything that's fully a waste of time, at least when it comes to
No, but
AI,
but
as long
the
as,
yeah, but I think so. Sorry, please continue. You're saying something.
sorry, so just I'll just finish my sentence. So there's no waste of time as long as it comes from a place of curiosity and trying to understand things, or trying to tinker. Um, but if you're just doom scrolling, then you are wasting time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think what Prasida said about like going analog a bit and also saving a lot of brain space and focusing on the right signal. And I think in AI is like so amazing, right? Because right now a lot of my work is engaged on taking non-technical professionals across the bridge to the post AI world, and I see so much struggle there because one every new tool is coming. Like someone is saying something about ChatGPT, someone is saying something about this other tool. I don't know where to exactly use it. I use it, but I'm using ChatGPT very regularly as well. It is creating a behavior in that sense as well. But then I'm not able to really go deep into it and then really apply AI to see what kind of work can be done. I, in some case, might or might not be aware of the stuff that I'm putting into ChatGPT. Where is it going? Does it even make sense to put those kind of things, sensitive information, company information, or any other kind of information into those kind of systems? Really, just going from a Google search bar to a uh, another search bar looking kind of scenario, but then the system is very different. The interpretation is very different. The way it functions is very different. So I said, I like definitely see, especially for non-technical workforce, a lot of intentional effort to put into this direction. uh, just coming towards the end now. This is something that we like to discuss here a lot. Both of you are very internationally exposed. Like both of you studied and spent a lot of time in US, in Europe. Uh, do you think it is a good time to build companies out of Nepal? Like in terms of workforce, in terms of market, in terms of the impact that AI is bringing into the ecosystem. Tech companies, not other.
Okay. Okay, I can go first. So I think there are two ways to think about this, Alok. I think uh, so. What Nepal is good at, and what Nepal is not good at, right? So Nepal right now, I feel like they're like good developers, very hardworking developers, diligent. Um, uh, in terms of workforce, you can find like decent developers in a reasonable cost compared to, let's say, SF, where you might have paid like 3 to 4x. What Nepal is not good at is, I feel like, deeper technology expertise, uh, how to go to market exposure, in terms of funding. I think if you need huge funding, there's still like big gaps on building technology company from here. So I think if you are thinking around that line where Nepal has these strengths and these weaknesses, I think you need to pick your battle, right? There's no one shot answer to that. I mean, me and Avinash, we've been building here since a long time, and because we see the goodness of what Nepal brings in the tech force, but we also understand that there are these missing components where the global force needs to fill in somehow. So hence we are related to a global ecosystem. I mean, we visit different conferences on a regular basis to get that exposure. We try to fill that gap by getting mentors, advisors, or like funding from outside. So it's not that Nepal like is good or bad, but there are core strengths that if you build from elsewhere, you might be paying more, or you might not find, let's say, a very motivated workforce. I'm just saying relatively, right? You can find everywhere, but if you can like get the best of the both worlds, yes, you can build a decently good product company from here. But there are some things like, let's say, if you're building a core product which you are competing with Silicon Valley, or you're competing with like big tech companies, then it's going to be very difficult building it out from here. Otherwise, you'd need a very remote like a workforce where you could have an HQ in Nepal, or some workforces here in Nepal. But I mean, there are like things that Nepal could help you in terms of like accelerating your product, but there are products where you probably it's a big red flag building it from Nepal.
Sorry. Okay, Avinash Dai.
Oh, and I think so. It's a very contextual question. So in that sense, that was a bad prompt. So there's a lot of context missing. But in general, depending on your customer, you have to decide it, and also in terms of what's your go-to-market strategy, how do you want to market your product. Based on that, you will have to make that decision. Um, in terms of engineering, totally agreed that uh, engineering and building products, designing products, we have uh, workforce that is internationally competitive. The quality is as good as anywhere else in the world. Um, in terms of deep tech, we unfortunately haven't had that exposure, so it's difficult to find uh, not just people, that kind of infrastructure as well. So it's difficult to find that. Um, so yeah, engineering, yes. The rest really depends on your strategy, your customer, your go to market.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, because I think this is something that I think it's everyone should think very critically, because it. I mean, like there is no point being um, very like unrealistic about what we can do from here. But also, as much as I mentioned, like if there is a way to bring the best of both worlds, probably there is a leverage as well that we might not have even noticed. But then one thing that we clearly see as like very determined people, very resilient people in that sense, and I think that that skill set generally is going to be very very valuable in the post AI world. But I also totally agree that anything that is to do with deep technology, it is very scarce, the kind of work that we are doing here. Okay, awesome. Just
Maybe
last
just one.
yeah, yeah.
Sorry, just a short addition to that. So in the end, it really depends on what you want. So there's no right and wrong, in the sense. Okay, if I want to build a deep tech company, or I don't know, if I want to uh, sell products in the West, then I need to have a team in the West. That's a good advice, but it's not the rule. You can stay in Nepal and still sell. You can still have a full team in the West and you can still lose. So it's a good rule of thumb, but these it does not define it.
Absolutely. I think especially, I mean, with the recent immigration crackdown where like the US is really, I mean, really pushing out like innovation outside, not like all the H-1B debacle, right? I think you don't need to be in the West. You just need to be closer to the market. And the market could be like the global market. It could be closer to the investment network, right? When I say US, it just is where the market and the network is. And right now, the network is expanding. I think network is expanded to Singapore, to Dubai, to Korea, to China, like to Japan. I think you just need to be closer to the market and play by your strengths, right? Like Europe right now, it's like compare the AI. They're not even in the race. Right now, the race is between China and the US, and the China is really catching up. The only reason China is not catching up is because of the hardware, like all these restrictions that they have placed. Otherwise, they have fantastic engineers, fantastic software people, who can develop like amazing like R&Ds, or even like toolings of products from non-West, right? So you don't need to be there, but you need to be closer to the market, and then the close, and it could be the cloud as well. Like if your market is the cloud, especially in our world, crypto, blockchain, investment, or like everything happens in the cloud, right? Like you don't need to be in Silicon Valley to raise, let's say, $10 million. You could be anywhere around the world, but you need to be close. You need to know the market. You need to know the right people. You need to know the right like environment to build a right product to build, right? So it depends on like what you're trying to do.
Is like on the note of you bringing there's a race between US and China, and then China really catching up. So much activity we see there. So when we look at it from a country like Nepal, like how should we see it? Like because if you mentioned Europe is not in the race, Nepal is somewhere in a totally different space. But then a lot of people are using it. We are building we are building tech. So. How should we as a country see this as a opportunity?
uh, I can go first, or Avinash? Mm. Okay. So I was looking at the report recently about Nepal's readiness for AI, and it was on the 150th out of 190 plus countries, right? So we are way, way behind. And the race right now is between China and the US. And it's not only now, I think they have kind of figured out the so every 6 months, the I think the training data is getting multiplied the computation. So we are having data centers are increasing the computation every 6 months. Right? It's getting doubled every 6 months rather than Moore's law, which was much more. Uh, the place where like even India, I think it can be somewhere in the middle, or you can choose your path. It doesn't need to be okay. I need to pick the US, or you need to pick China. You need to pick one of the two or both, and that is where I think India is doing. Right? I think they're playing both the cards, where they are not in the race, but they want to be in the race. They are not a dominant player in the AI space, but I won't be surprised if they won't be. And the reason they are not is because of one thing, that is power and computation. Sorry, power, energy, right? Uh, China has immense energy, and the only thing that the limitation is the hardware, whereas the US has the energy limitation. That's why they are planning to build like gigawatts of like data centers. And right now, I mean, Google, Meta, Facebook, Microsoft, everyone is spending billions of dollars to build that infrastructure. There was this I was reading this quote by Satya Nadella, where he said that, oh, we have all these machines, but we just don't have energy, right? So it's actually an energy race than an AI, because AI actually right now there's open source AI, this like intelligence is being like is skyrocketing. But even if they have the technology, if they don't have energy, they're going to lose the race, right? So I feel like that is the real race happening between the two countries.
Yeah, agree. Avinash Dai?
Mhm. So I think for us as Nepal, I don't think we should think of taking part in the race or trying to
We did
win
it.
it, because
We did it run. Let's watch.
yeah, no, but don't just watch, but at least learn
Be
and
part of it somehow.
integrate. Exactly, learn and
Mm.
integrate, because um, let's think of the government. Uh, if I were the government of Nepal, or if I had some say, I'm not a Gen Z, but still, if I had some say, then I I think we should, as a country, not rely on external services, but rather try to build systems internally, and that in a way is to also protect the sovereignty of the country. But on the other hand, it also builds the workforce and the experience. I mean, if the government says, okay, we will invest in building a Nepali first AI for the government, there's at least 100 people who get to work on this project.
Yeah.
If the government of Nepal says, okay, we will host our email systems internally and we will not use, uh, I don't know what they use, Google or Gmail or Microsoft, but then there will be at least 50 people who would have run that systems in the country scale. So I think we have to start there. The second thing we should do is to uh, open up the whole investment ecosystem so that Nepal becomes a place where international companies also want to invest, to build their teams, to build their products. Because if me and Prashish, the two of us, think that uh, Nepal is a good place to build products, then it is a good place to build products for a lot of other people who live internationally as well. Uh, so we have to not just open up, but also be stable in that sense.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, so much investment money is being poured into intelligence. There's like an explosion of intelligence going around, right? So Nepal as a country, we need to make use of that and make our processes efficient, government efficient. Like I think it just, I mean, being like just like what Bhutan did, right? Bhutan as a country, they strategically mined Bitcoin, and that it that just that factor, they're making a lot of positive noise in the whole ecosystem, and now they have a very strategic say in the whole uh, Bitcoin space. Similarly, I think Nepal just needs to use what there's like an arms race going on, like between different like the two countries. And what if we use that in our advantage and strategically position ourselves to become a neutral figure? I don't know, right? So, but I think that there's a big and the time for that is pretty small because the other countries are gonna get into that bandwagon. Nepal just needs to position itself as how we can use that technology and make our internal things better.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think like we have a general problem of lack of expertise in right places, or even having a lot of people, because there is so much of immigration happening, and uh, we have our government structures, or the general public service infrastructures, which could be made so much more efficient with the use of AI in today's time. And I think that could very easily be such a nice case moving forward. Like, we probably do not need to be working with such level of inefficiencies, and I think that is where probably there is a lot of value for us to capture. I mean, like, there is probably no point at this point of time, and probably technically as well, for us to have conversations about how we can build another model or things like that, just because of the kind of resources that we have. But then we can actually make our lives better with AI, and I totally agree to that.
Mm.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was. Um I don't know what Ashutosh is thinking listening to this as an audience, but then it was a very technical conversation for but in that sense. And when we were talking, I was thinking, like, if Punit Bhai was here, how would the conversation would go. But then I think there is a lot of value. Thank you so much for coming and giving your time. Anything that you think that we missed, anything that you want to say that could actually add value to the kind of work that we're doing for the post AI conversation to move forward in Nepal.
Now, so I think I can start. So I just want to mention that first of all, thank you, Alok, for bringing us here. My I think my last point would be, I think there's a big arms race going on the whole AI space right now. I mean, us as a nation, we are still like in a bubble. Most of us, at least, we're trying to understand. I think I see a lot of conferences going here and there, but we need something tangible, at least to position ourselves. But there's immense activity going around. There's like a war going on behind the scenes where like two nations, different companies are just fighting it out because the the, the prize is like AGI, right? AGI, super intelligence, whatever they call it, but at least have immense amount of intelligence to make the product or different like even the country grow immensely. So I think there's so much activity going around. At least learn about it. Twitter, different podcasts is the way to go. It uh, uh, be up to date on what's happening, like try to make use of that in your day to day. It could be very small to big. You could clone yourself or just use chat gpt to get some simple answers, right? So I think just make use of the free technology that the world is providing us, so that you can like keep on updating yourself, or even like this pushing yourself to the next jump if need be.
Awesome. Avinash Dai?
Oh, I know. So don't miss out. I think Prashish said almost everything. Don't miss out. Don't miss out on the conversation as well. We should keep the conversation going. Meet people, talk to them about how they are using AI, how they are accelerating the work that they're doing. Um, some people have 5x benefits, some people have 10x benefits, some people have 2x benefits, but in an area where you would be surprised that they have 2x benefits. So talk to people and keep the conversation going. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like very rightly said, the more we are using it, the more we are understanding how to use it as well. And I think it is a lot different from what we think. And I think like at every moment we'll get surprised with what power this technology has in general. But then thank you so much. I think
Well,
like I'm
one
yeah
last thing.
yeah yeah.
Yep, one last thing. And if someone is interested, then do check out AI Conf as well. I think we
Oh
will have
yes
some
yes.
interesting
Oh
AI talks
yes.
there.
We didn't really talk about AI conference. So AI conference is happening from when, Avinash Dai? Can you please tell us?
Oh yeah, so AI Conf is
Maybe
on.
Avinash, maybe you can pitch AI conference so that we can put it in the
Oh yeah,
notes.
no, sure. So this is what I tell everyone. So at least in Nepal, we have Nami who works a lot in the research layer of AI, and then we have a lot of events, conferences. I think all the money is in the policy layer of AI. So there's a lot of events and a lot of conversation that happens in that layer. But the layer that we are mostly interested in is the layer where people use AI to build systems and build systems that has AI integrated within the system as well. And that's the layer that we are working in. And there isn't enough conversation in that layer. We I think we have like some meetups maybe throughout the year, but that's it. So our goal is to let's try to bring everyone who's working in that space, everyone who's experienced, a professional, let's try to bring them together. Let's try to get some experts from around the world. I think we have some experts who will be joining us from Nepal and from around the world as well. And then let's share knowledge, let's learn. And the main thing is you get to meet people who are using this, and just me speaking to one person about the topic that you're facing an issue on. That's the value of the conference, of the whole event. If you meet one person and you have one useful conversation, I think that's already a benefit.
Yeah, I
So yeah,
totally
that's
agree.
AI Conf.
Okay, amazing. I think it's going to be a good one. Very excited to be a part of it as well. I think that when you said expert, I think that like I hear this word so much, like especially when like when we are getting some advice, and then especially in the phase of space of AI. The word expert, I think it has to be demystified a bit, because I think it is about which person, like how much curiosity they are having for some time, and what they are building, what they are learning in that process. It is very difficult to like people are looking for experts, but who is an expert is my big question in today's time, like to actually tell something, in the traditional sense. What do you think on that, just to wrap up?
Yeah, so I think uh, I would see it in multiple ways. So one, if someone is really building the systems and building the core technology, they are an expert in it. They're an expert in building it. And then if someone has spent considerable amount of time building software on top of it, using it, applying it, then they are an expert in applying those systems. So it really depends on which area of expertise are we interested in, and then based on that we try to invite people who've worked on that area. So we can also think of experts as practitioners who have spent enough time in the field.
I think why I brought this point up, because I think so many people are looking at AI adoption and AI tech and everything. I think we really need to give a lot of impetus on people who are practitioners, who are using it, who are looking at the different nuances of it, seeing what is possible and what is not possible, because it is very different once you start implementing it, and new learnings like rise up, and then that is the meat of the tech that we're actually seeing. And that's the general thought process that I've been having as well. But then that is great. Like I think it's happening around Nami's AI school as well. So I think there is going to be a lot of AI activity there. There in Nepal. But then again, thank you so much, guys. I think if there was a generation of CGA people right now in St. Xavier's, they'd probably be very proud. But then sadly, we don't have them anymore. We don't have them anymore. But then it's all right. Like, thank you so much for your time, and then hope to see you soon when Punitha is settled in his married life, and then we can be proud to. All right, okay, I'm gonna stop
Okay, thank
recording.
you.